Hey, everybody, it's Life and Vibe, otherwise known as Ray. And I needed to follow back up with our friend Saracen Tim, who found himself in the tent section at BJ's yesterday. He somehow, was out and about, and he was getting inspiration, I guess, for upcoming content. But I did need to set the scene a little bit before we went into Tim's evening chat. And yes, he put out 2 more videos yesterday evening, making a total of 10 videos. Anyway, if you do happen to like this type of content, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff, because Tim's been reminding everybody, so am I. But today we only have 2 videos. 2 videos. So he actually went out to a different location and was making content. How well edited, I'm not sure. I haven't had time to look because I wanted to follow up with last night because I don't know. Tim is kind of well, we'll let Tim talk about it. Okay, and then Tim, there's the attorney's statement, the fair use. Goodness sake. I hate having to remind about fair use, but Tim gets very litigious sometimes, everybody. All right, let me stop fiddling with stuff. Somebody told me off of that. Oh yeah. Sorry, that's my computer going absolutely nuts. Sorry. Let me get this transcript off. Am I watching? Oh yeah, here we go. This is the one. So he's at 1.25 and this is at BJ's wholesale. He's looking at tents. It's important to get this, okay?
It's $250. Look at that thing, big cabin tent. It's got a rain fly on it. Goes up pretty quick and easy. Called a core. I buy tents this big for $60 at Walmart. I can't believe $250. But it is what it is. So, you throw yourself a king size or queen size air mattress down in there. You got yourself a pump. What does that say? What's that about? Is that saying, oh, that's this? Oh, okay. $149 for this job. All his camping stuff, easy ups, canopy weights. Well, what do you think? Let me back up for you. I got 2 of those gravity chairs. That big old tent. Just take that. It goes up in a few seconds. Find your place to squat. You're not going to be squatting in one of those at a rest area, though. You have to find a campground if you're traveling.
So Tim is finding himself doing his utmost favorite sport, and that is shopping and looking for things to buy. And so we know that obviously Tim found himself in BJ's and he sees this tent. Whether he went with the intention to look at tents, I don't know. He just happened to see it. And obviously they have this stuff out. It's summertime. All right, let's take it over to this tab over here because Tim is obviously there. It does it every time I do that. Why do you always do that? Okay, because Tim came out with an evening chat. So he wrote, and Tim, I'm gonna say you look really burnt. I don't think you obviously wore the YouTube hat the whole time you were out and about. There's obviously time when you had some sun on your face, and it looks like you put no sunscreen on. And you do understand there's a difference between a sunscreen and a sunblock. So a sunscreen, Tim, only blocks out really the most harmful rays, the UVA and the UVB. And depending on the SPF, it generally indicates how much time the product will be the most effective in screening that out of your skin. So if you get saying an SPF 50, I understand it has generally about 50 minutes of good effective, like sun protection. That's what I believe the SPF. If I'm incorrect, please put it in the comment section. But I want to feel that it gives you for like indication of length of time, and therefore, obviously, if the product has got more durability, and it's lasting, I believe that's what it's about. I guess something sun protection factor is like 50 minutes of sun protection. I want to say that's what the 50 means, but I could be wrong because some say 80 minutes of protection. Anyway, I could be completely off. But anyway, I always choose a 50. 50 is my favorite. 50 is my go-to. And it's a screen though. So not all the things from the sun are blocked, Tim. And so you still get sun. You just don't get burned. So I get pretty decently tanned for somebody as pale as I am starting out. And yet I know I have, definitely been using, sunscreen my entire life. Sunblock will definitely be able to take and potentially block all the rays of the sun out. But an SPF 50 just gives you a sun protection factor of 50. And I should look that up because now I probably sound not very smart. But remember, I'm a nurse, not a chemist. All right. I think, let me see. Do I have Tim at 1.25? No, he'd be normal speed. That was way too slow. Now, I'm going to give just heads up, everybody. When Tim gets to like his really like the steak, I think I'm going to stop sharing because it's a little too much for me. It just doesn't look good. But he goes off on a bunch of stuff. Answering my question about the butter. And I just, anyway.
For coffee at 7:45 p.m. I'm drinking my coffee now with butter. And, it's weird how it takes me a long time to finally get it. People tell me some things. And I'm starting to use the butter now. There it is right here.
Oh.
You take this butter and you put cold.
Now, did he, sorry, his cheeks look really burnt. And obviously probably even through the beard hair. Did he get the hat and then the hat didn't maybe protected his forehead and maybe he still got that sun on his face? Wow. You have to do it double, Tim. The sunscreen. Just get a sunscreen. Gosh, he's going to be covered in eczema.
Whole butter, by the way. And you put it in your coffee, a couple of tablespoons or a tablespoon, a good little pad of it. Cut off your little butter there. Now, I understand you're supposed to use like grass-fed, what was the other name of that one? It's kind of a famous butter. Anyway, I just got butter. I do have some special butter. I think I do in here.
I guess it makes the milk taste better if it's grass-fed. Okay. I mean, I guess your body doesn't notice the difference. Maybe we notice the difference in taste, but as far as the composition of the actual product, like, it doesn't make a difference. I promise you. Whatever that animal's digested, that animal digests for itself. Now, like I said, it doesn't mean that it's not going to add a difference in potentially the flavor. A lot of it's just a bunch of gimmicks. And Tim's buying into it. Go ahead, sir.
Let me see.
Waste your money.
This one is creamy butter. Sweet cream. You're supposed to use unsalted too, by the way. Grass-fed. What was the name of that one? Oh, here it is. Organic. But
organic. That's that fancy brand name. I have questions about the use of the word organic in product labeling. And I can understand why somebody would not want a cup of salty coffee.
That's probably great. Non-GMO. You got to start going with all these organics and grass-feds and all of that too. And the reason I know that.
I wonder what Tim thinks GMO is.
Leads me up to why I'm saying about, using to butter my coffee is I've got a bone-in ribeye right here. And, You get these cows, they've been, throwing this different food to blow them up like they do chickens and things versus natural grass-fed. And you're eating what they ate.
Well, you better hope that grass is on a 4-crop rotation, hey? And that they're only fertilizing with the cow's manure and then, cycling it through with crops and then resting. I learned about the 4-crop rotation method from the time of the English Middle Ages. It was part of our history class. And one of those things that just stuck with me was the 4-crop rotation method. Sounded very intelligent. And, it's basically a way. And then they would have like different fields and they cycle the animals around in order for the animals to eat it. And then, fertilize it, obviously. And then they would move the cows along and then they would till the land and then do the planting and then reseed it with a crop for the cows. And then, that would come up. And then the cows, rotate it.
And so if they're full of crap, you're not really eating the best. So anyway, I'm using butter.
Or the cow would eat the cud, I guess, of the crop that was left behind. I think that was it. But they just basically they rotated it so that it kept the land healthy. So make it, so you could keep reusing the land.
That's what I meant to say. In the coffee. It's absolutely delicious. First time I heard it, I was just like, all right, yeah. Never. And I tried it, and 3 or 4 told me to do it. And I never. And then I tried it. And I'll be damned if it ain't good. Real good. And then I just add a teaspoon of the heavy whipping cream because I know, even though that's better for you than half.
Well, I just hope you're all finding this content just thrilling. I promise you guys, it gets better.
Half and half or milk in your coffee because it has sugar in it. That too much cheese or heavy whipping cream and those kind of things, dairy products, can the weight loss. So now I'm not going to be buying that expensive heavy whipping cream.
Oh no. The whipping cream is gone. Did you understand that butter is just whipping cream, Tim, that's been, churned to death? That's all that butter is churned cream. So when you're putting butter in your coffee, you're still going to be putting cream in your coffee, literally. Do you not understand how butter is made? And cheese. One is just got salt and no salt, and it's usually used for other types of things. I don't know.
Near as often, because I'm using just a little bit, I'll be buying more expensive butter. And so I'm swapping one for the other for the coffee. But I got quite a bit, so I'm good. Anyway, enough about coffee.
I don't know if they call that bullet coffee or whatever. It's supposed to, I guess, satiate your, I don't know. Promise you, whoever created it, they made the money off you guys.
And all that. Today was a good day. I got out, did some exercise. I think I lost a pound. I'm still right out of 200 minutes.
Probably burnt yourself off a pound from the looks of your face, Tim, because you really burnt yourself. That's incredible. Look at this sunburn. Jeez. That's got to hurt. On his nose, too. Like, how many times? Your dermatologist is going to love you, Tim. Gosh, anything going to aid you, Tim? I tell you what's going to make you look old so fast. Burning your skin like this. Turn into leather.
And I was going to go to the gym. I went to BJ's. I made a video, and LA Fitness is across the street. Well, guess what? It's Sunday. They close at 7. It was 6:35. I said, well, I'm not going to go in there. They're probably trying to run people out. They don't want to see somebody coming in. I can go to Planet Fitness 24/7, baby. Except tonight, I think they might close at midnight on Sundays, but they're open 24 hours a day most days of the week. And I can still go, but I didn't. So I'm kind of tired. I got 10,000 steps in, and I did some squats today. And
Zoe was joking on Tim having discovered squats at 66 years old. Tim, did Did you skip out of gym class when you were younger? Did you have excuse notes not to show up to you said you were all full of athleticism. So, and then you were a surfer and scuba diver and deep sea fisherman and all sorts of stuff.
Just to think about going over there and working on my biceps and triceps.
Okay, I need to see that bicep, Tim. We're gonna have to go back and examine whether that really looks like a bicep. Okay, let's see. Let's get it. Let me go back a little tiny bit. Let me go back. Let's get this. Okay, go again, Tim.
And maybe bench pressing. I can just do some push-ups. So maybe I'll do that tonight.
Oh, so
I need a
push-ups, more push-ups. Well, Tim, you never took anybody up on the offer of the $500 for 200 push-ups.
But I didn't. So
I'm running out of time.
I'm kind of tired. I got 10,000 steps in.
Oh, let me get this.
And I did some squats today. And just to think about going over there and working on my.
No, I'm not seeing like really a definition of a bicep, Tim. I got better, I think, bicep definition than you do, Tim. That's kind of embarrassing for you, sir.
Biceps and triceps, and maybe some bench pressing. I can just do some push-ups here.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that tonight. And I need.
Yeah, of course. Why do I feel like I'm listening to a teenage boy trying to convince his friends he's got all this stuff going on? Yeah, and then the hottest girl at school called me.
Shout. But I'm going to cook this steak. I'm going to put the Edmund salt to it and the big time steak seasoning, which I haven't used the last few steaks, but I'm going to use it tonight.
Well, you better check that across the carnivore gurus, Tim. They might be telling you off. Could have a hidden carb in there. Better check the carb count on that.
And go ahead and put the salt on there now so it'll get, tenderized.
Oh, yeah.
The grill's working great. That one tank, I'll just have to take it and swap it out. I don't know what happened to it, why it's not pushing enough propane out to light the whole burn. First, I thought I had a problem with my grill. I'd rather have a problem with the tank than have a problem with my $280 grill. So I was reading all the comments, and it's kind of hard to keep.
Are you just on a full-on dry bag at the moment, Tim? Between, pointing out the $249 for the tent and then obviously tent dry bagging, which you're going to get into a second. Then you just dry bagged out for a grill? Come on, Tim. Work harder, do better.
But with them sometimes, a lot of the, I want to answer everybody, but I was just reading them again. And I decided to make a video, acknowledge you, that I really appreciate you taking the time to comment about the videos.
Tim, okay, I'm going to let you finish it out.
About tips and health and all that. What was it someone was telling me?
Tim is actually wanting to thank people. Tim, okay. You have sometimes 7 comments left on a video that's been up for hours. 7 comments. For somebody who has 60-some thousand subscribers trying to make his way to 100K, having a video with 7 comments on it is not engagement. And along with what YouTube looks like, other than views, and likes and dislikes, anything of those things, anytime anyone goes into a creator's video and engages in any way, liking the video, disliking the video, having gone into the video and seen any length of time in it, and having left a comment or taken time to have actually subscribed to the creator's channel, these actions are all viewed by YouTube as engagement with that creator's content. So if you guys who come in and like to leave all the wild comments about me, it doesn't bother me. They try to be sanitized because they are trying to get through YouTube's filters. But they want to know, I think they're obsessed with me. But anyway, that's all right. And I just leave it there because it's engagement. So it just doesn't matter. You, though, Tim, spend so much time deleting and scrubbing and sanitizing. I would love to see what the filters are like on your moderation. I have basic moderation on my stuff. So, and I think, maybe I have, basic moderation. I don't even have a lot of moderation on my content. And I still work a full-time job pretty much with the hours I work, and along with YouTube, it definitely puts me over full time. And I have time to try to respond personally in some ways to a lot of comments, because I don't take my comments away. I do read everybody's comments. And I think the audience knows that I do. And some I write something and some I don't. And obviously, if they're a member of the Good Life community, they're definitely going to be getting a written response and a fast response, because that's what I do. That's just one of the perks of memberships, I guess, if you really want to engage with me. But I tend to engage anyway. And so, I mean, but I think you were so harsh on people to begin with. This has been where you have gone wrong. And now you're trying to say that you have, no time. This is your full-time job, Tim. Didn't you realize that? See, Tammy's not doing the work anymore. If you remember when Tim started to get very popular, Tammy was by his side, because she probably couldn't believe what was happening too. Probably seeing, like, because YouTube tallies every day the money, so they probably could both see it. And she was helping to, do his comment sections, and Tammy could read that everyone thought she was cute or whatever. And they were a team. And then Tim suddenly had the 4 moderators of the apocalypse. And then I don't know where the 4 moderators, I don't know who they were, but I'm thinking that they are no longer working for Tim for free, and they are gone. Because I'm sure it was, like a lot of our moderators and my too. Unfortunately, it's a unpaid position sometimes. As much as, and obviously I would love to, pay forward on my mods as much as I possibly can. But it is kind of, for the love of the channel a lot of the times. And we are so appreciative of our moderators. So, Tim, I don't know now if it's time to walk it back. And the fact now, even when you really need to build this engagement back up, and I'm going to finish it here because I've talked too long on this point, you are still not personally commenting, making 10 videos, and making this commentary instead.
Was a good tip. Several things. Anyway, they're all in there. You can read them yourself. I think about if I go somewhere, I spend
Tim
enough money
edited with Slide.
Traveling in the tundra and in this thing that gets no gas mileage. And I go far distances, all the way across the United States and back. And it's a lot of dang money. I mean, a lot of money. Pay like a couple of years of work.
Oh my gosh, more dry begging. Tim, you had people were sending you buy me a coffee money to pay for that travel. You had literally your subscribers send you gas money. What more would you want? With a channel where I understand you took in like 100K one year. So no pleading of the poverty. And we all know about the EIDL, 58,400 plus PPP and unemployment and all sorts of goodies.
Worth of insurance on all 3 of my rigs. So I think about
Tim just loves saying all 3 of my rigs. Well, Tim, you chose to have 3 rigs. You chose to get a F-250 in order to supposedly haul this particular vehicle. With, I think at the cost, it would have just been cheaper to have leased a vehicle than have spent that much money, 60 grand on a truck. And then you spent 40 because you said you were going to have your runaround car. I really think you thought you were going to get a sticks and bricks with Miss Tammy because you were talking to that real estate couple and you were getting all excited about real estate. And then I guess somehow maybe Tammy decided that she didn't want that type of commitment. And so suddenly, the call, something happened because suddenly Tim ended up with 2 vehicles in a travel trailer. But these were choices that you made, Tim.
I think with nothing behind me, in 70, 75 miles an hour, 80 when you're in the legal 80 zone, and you're not dragging something. And
what, the best floor plan ever? that's now been discontinued. The Flagstaff that Tim has stood in, somebody let me know that this model has been discontinued. It was so fantastic that the Flagstaff, whatever it is, you think I know the model number by now, but I paid so little attention, really. It's discontinued. You mean you don't want to haul that? Great face, Tim. You don't want to haul that? Come on. You bought the 250, F250. I know what that is. And you just for this. Now you want to be free with nothing hauled? It was supposedly the other day. I can't keep up, Tim, with your flippy flopping all over the flip flop place.
You can literally go for free at 40 miles per gallon. And
no, it's not free at 40 miles a gallon. You know how else I know it's not free? At least I don't know how it is in Florida, but in Virginia, if you have a fuel efficient vehicle like I had to pay extra when I did some like vehicle registration or something. And they like charged me for having a fuel efficient car. With my vehicle registration. They said, that's not even the tags. That's just the vehicle. I think the tags are all something separate from the registration. I think, they are. Yeah, and then you get the city tax for it too, for the property tax. But I caught an extra, was 200 or some hundred, I don't know, for not spending enough money, I guess, at the gas pump. So no, I would not call that free. You just have a way of dressing up a really pile of poop.
Maybe camp out, not necessarily a hotel. That would be expensive. Get a tent and camp out. Even take the truck without the camper.
Well, we know where you got the tent idea from, Tim, because we saw you over, eyeballing the tent over at the BJ's. But what happened to the hookup with Hilton Tom? People want to know, Tim. There are rumors. And I don't know if this was just started to cause trouble with you and Tammy, or if there is a nugget of truth behind it. But the rumor was Hilton Tom hit on Tammy in front of Tim.
That thing will get 17 miles per gallon or 16 anyway on the highway, which is double when it gets towing. But it's worth it because it can haul.
Double towing? Oh my gosh. So you're trying to say 8 miles per gallon towing that your Flagstaff. And you went all the way out. Oh my. You did end up probably using a fair amount of your buy me a coffee for that gas. That was and you still didn't stop at any really good national parks or anything. Oh my goodness. 8. Wow. Well, one was one vehicle, and then I think it was the 250 the following time, wasn't it? Oh my, no, I think it was just the other vehicle. Well, I'm sure it wasn't great. I don't think have you done much with the 250? Didn't you just get that in August? Maybe you did go one more time out west. I can't keep up.
A lot of stuff. The generator, tents,
I think he did
air mattresses, coolers, refrigerators, whatever I want to take. I could set up a Ford Apache. And I've done that kind of way before, on the motorcycle even. And it's kind of cool. It's 4-wheel drive. I can have a lot of fun with it like I do with my 4Runner. I could go out to Moab. I wouldn't go on Hell's Revenge, but I could just go out and,
What are you buying now? Is this how it used to be at the house when you were married? I can just do this and do that and do that and do this and do this and I can do that.
Have myself a good time, do some off-roading, drop the tire pressure, and go different places. Just on that flat, open desert. Just, out there, meet some people, go with them, not out by myself. Not that I'm scared, but they're just.
No, you should be scared because you should be nervous because nobody should be doing anything that has any level of danger and not be accompanied by somebody. I mean, in all good, thought, because if something were to happen, you're going to need somebody there. And if it has a high level of risk,
safety in numbers. You always do
Yes.
things like that, like
you
diving.
should.
You do it with somebody else.
Yes.
And that sounds pretty adventurous and interesting to me. It wouldn't be like right now, because here we are in July and next month is August. I looked at the temperature.
No, in diving, you kind of go off on your own. You just have to, know where the boat is, or keeping an eye. Somebody may be the one keeping an eye on others. Because when I went diving, I was one time I was pretty much on my own. It felt like the scuba lead was somewhere nearby. Was rolling around checking, but I just remember rolling around down the bottom. It was over in by Islas de las Mujeres. Or was that off of Cozumel? No, I think it was off of Cozumel. One of those.
In Moab, because I was thinking about going back to Moab. It's 110 degrees. It's like going to Las Vegas or Laughlin or Yuma or Tucson. It's just absolutely boiling hot for the next couple of months. So I might plan something out. I could buy that tent I saw today at BJ's, or even one on Facebook Marketplace or Amazon or something. I don't think I need anything that big, really. I had a big cabin tent. But if I wait to the right time of the year where the evening was nice.
Tim, you trying to tell me you're going to count in any element in that little flimsy looking type tent thing? That thing didn't look like it would take much of anything, to be honest. I don't know. That tent looked like one that you just put for the kids in the backyard. I don't know. I'm not a tent expert.
And you can sleep. I could buy a camper shell for the back of the truck and just rig up the back and sleep back there. A camper shell. Maybe even and then sell that junk when I get back and go back to my top.
See, this is Tim's philosophy. Well, I buy it and I'll use it and then I'll sell it. Always. Buy it, use it, sell it. I guess that's kind of how he's always floated himself. I mean, not that things should just be tossed out. I mean, I think that's good, but that's his, constant, just to do this one thing. Somehow you may potentially lose money, but Tim supposedly he always sells it for more than he got it. So he's always making money. It's always free. Something is always mathematically working out for him.
No cover. I don't like a camper shell, to be honest with you, but it would serve a cool purpose to be able to have, cover, cab height. I'm not talking about one of those big campers. I'm talking about shell. Just a shell.
Wasn't it just like 2 days ago you were talking about like the travel trailer and living in it and how it works for one person, and now we're all doing? Is it because your views are falling? I think people just don't know what your channel is anymore, Tim. You should have stuck to doing, if you started out with a Social Security and trying to talk about just doing stuff in retirement and kind of sticking to the financial thing, and I think that would have worked. But I think I don't think I would have worked because you have no expertise in that area either. But you're just all over the place.
And put a little, carpet back there and throw down a full-size air mattress, not even a queen, and whatever, anything to sleep on. And cruise around.
For a minimalist, Tim has just a way of buying more stuff than I could ever imagine. Maybe because when I buy things, I want them to be big. Very laser focused at the moment.
And make some content. It sounds interesting to me. Another different thing. And if I don't like it, hey, that's not the end of the world. When I get back, the next time I go out, I can just hook up the crasher here and go back to towing it, or buy another cramper. These things are always available, coming up for sale for nothing. Something.
Why are you just buying all this sort of stuff? What is going on? See, this is what happens when you have piss poor planning. PPP. And just not thinking things through. You can't just do things like that, Tim, always.
More than some and less than others, This the right thing will come about. So I don't know, just kind of spitballing, thinking outside the box. I don't know. May do it, not.
How is this spitballing or thinking outside the box? We already saw you like in the teardrop over at Ted and Jolene's. You've taken the travel camper out west, but you refuse to have any good quality, really, just good videos, just highlighted your daily experience there, which probably would have been enough to keep people entertained in your channel and probably kept enough people watching. But you decided that that was not your approach. Your approach was instead to spit out just tons of videos in a day, I guess, because you just wanted to capture all that AdSense money. So your greed, I think, and the PPP did not help with your channel, Tim. If this was what you planned to do, Chris, because you kind of had a good foundation when you had that little, bump with your channel with the video. And it kept for a while because people liked your side hustle and when you were working at Publix and you seemed a little bit more humble. But then when you just sort of had the money go to your head, I think, have lost some of your audience. Some people love that you're living the best life ever through it. I think others started to feel that some things about your other character traits were outweighing the enjoyment of your content. And your content is boring and repetitive, Tim. You don't really do anything good.
But right now, we get the steak going.
Not that I'm going to talk about your boring content.
I'm going to get that shower. I'm tired of making videos today. This is
how. I bet Tim has never used the word tired and work together. You're tired of making videos today? It's probably because you put out 10 videos. I would be tired also. I think anybody would. And they're not, you just put out little, I don't know what you're trying to, you personally do not understand how I think YouTube works. And I think you kill your own algorithm because of the variety of content. YouTube doesn't know where to put your content. You can hashtag social security. That's not necessarily what it's, I have no idea, but it's based on like watch and which people watch. And I think you're just overwhelming YouTube. They don't know what to do with you, and not in a good way.
A good looking steak. I made those hamburgers today. I went and bought some more, and then I shaved them. Look at the size of these burgers.
Oh. No, I don't care about this part. All right, Tim, I'm done. All right, guys. I'm going to finish it out here because, I think I've already made this video. Oh, God, it got long. How did it get so long? Jeez. Anyway, obviously, if you did get this far, leave me a tent in the comment section, please. Leave me a tent. Yeah, because, Ted might be bringing out the tent content again. I don't know. Oh my God. Luckily today was only 2 videos. And I have to say, he's not a great commenter for the travel stuff. Sometimes there was this girl lives in the coldest city of the world. She had the dog out and stuff. And there was the Aurora Borealis going on, the Northern Lights and stuff. That stuff's good. I don't know about the stuff that Tim films. I don't think he does Florida justice. All right, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Help me up the algorithm. Okay, bye.